Can you get a treaty passed in the United States Congress? Can you get it through the Senate if you do it? How do we break open the logjam in our national politics on the environment?
Well, you know, Hank Paulson and a bunch of other former secretaries of the Treasury, bipartisan group, just came out calling for it last week. There are a lot of Republicans who are now saying, hey, look, enough is enough. We've got to move on this. You know, I think at some point reality does settle in. But here's an important point, David, and it circles back to a point that we started with in this discussion. We need a treaty, we need a global treaty, and eventually we will get one. But the carbon-based industries are gonna have stranded assets regardless of whether there's a treaty or not. You know, the subprime mortgages given to people that didn't make down payments and couldn't make the monthly payments, as soon as people realize what the real value is, they collapse. That's what caused the credit crisis and the Great Recession. There are now $21 trillion in stranded carbon assets, dead men walking, and the stranding does not depend on a treaty. California has just passed its own legislation. So has Quebec, British Columbia, Ontario, a lot of regional governments elsewhere in the world. Europe has just upped its ante. India's just put a tax on coal. China, as I've said, is moving. So is India. NGOs and grassroots organizations are now mobilizing to require disinvestment from these assets that are vulnerable to being stranded. There are the technology developments so that the cost of competitive alternative sources is now really affecting the future of the fossil fuel economy on the margins. So that's all good news. We're gonna get there. The only question again is how much damage do we want to allow to take place for us and our children and grandchildren. And as I have often said, and I'll close with this because there are a lot of influential people in this audience. I knew that before, but when I went over the list of all 800 signed up for this, I thought, wow, this is an influential group. The day will come when the next generation will ask one of two questions. And if they live in a world where we've delayed so long that there are climate refugees like there were in Syria, contributing to the collapse of that society, where there are stronger storms and deeper droughts and cities retreating from the coast and failures of governance and chaos and real despair, they would be justified in asking of us in this generation, what were you thinking? Didn't you notice that 99.99% of all the scientists were in agreement, all the National Academies of Science, all of the professional scientific societies, and Mother Nature? Didn't you notice? But if they live in a world filled with a sense of renewal and hope, with renewable energy and a sustainable society with sustainable forestry and agriculture and efficiency, and they can look at their kids and feel hope that their lives will be better still, I want them to look back and ask of us, how'd you do it? How'd you find the moral courage to change so quickly? And I hope that part of the answer will be the Aspen Ideas Festival was a turning point. Thank you very much.